Good morning. It's Dr. Rhoda again, and I'm back to get back to what we talked about that I mentioned last week that we were going to start to discuss genitals. And thanks for letting me have my little rant on Monday. But now we're back and we're back on track. So, why is talking about genitals so difficult? Let's face it, as we are very uncomfortable talking about them, which in many ways is really quite ridiculous because genitals are just a part of our bodies. They're really no different than our nose, our fingers, our toes, our belly buttons. It's just a part. Okay, yes, it can be kind of a fun part, but it's just a part. And yet our society gives us such shame, such embarrassment, and such discomfort in even talking about it. I mean, think about just the ways we discuss genitals. Oh, they're private parts. Oh, we have silly names for them. When you think of men's genitals, little boys call them their wieners, their doodads, their thingies. There's so many silly little names that we call them because we're uncomfortable with them. And unfortunately, that discomfort then affects us throughout our lives. That discomfort, that shame, that embarrassment, that they're not good enough, they're not attractive enough, they're not whatever we think they're supposed to be enough. And it not only just affects people's thoughts about their genitals, it affects their sexuality and their sexual functioning. So it's really ridiculous, and it's time we need to start talking about it and start dealing with it. Even adult names for genitals: dicks, pricks, cocks, and the most current one that I really hate, calling men's genitals junk. Oh my God, if I could remove that from the planet, trust me, I would. It is such an insulting term. Genitals are not junk. And I know people think it's funny. It's not. And especially women referring to men's genitals as junk. I get it. A lot of times as women, men throughout our lives has not treated us very well. And so we think it's some nice little way to get back at them. Well, it's not. Like, ladies, I think we're better than that. So knock it off. Stop calling men's genitals junk. Take the high road. Anyway, enough of that. And a lot of what comes into this is that, and I'm not knocking porn. I'm really not knocking porn. But porn gives us very unrealistic images of what genitals are supposed to look like for both men and women. And on Friday, we'll talk about how porn gives us very unrealistic images for women's genitals. But there is such a thing as porn penis and porn pussy or porn vulva. Like, there really is such a thing as that. And it's unfortunate because that gives people the idea that their genitals are supposed to look like what they see in porn. And it's not. That is a small percentage of what real genitals look like. Like, we need to talk about what the average and the variance is, because when we're talking about penis size, the average erect penis in men is anywhere from about 5 to 6 inches long. That is the average size. And the average girth is anywhere from about 4.5 to 5 inches in girth, so around. Now, if you think of your typical bell curve, yes, at the one end of the curve, you have penises that are less than 3 inches long. And in fact, the medical term for penises that are like in the 1 to 2 inch range is called a micropenis. But that's very rare. But most men are between 3 to 13 inches. So you have 3 at the one end of your bell curve and 13 at the other end. Most are in the middle in that 5 to 6 inch range. That is the majority. And while girth can go anywhere from 3 to 7 inches, most are not going to be either that narrow or that thick. It's just not the way it is. Now, if you think about it, the average dollar bill, there it is. The average dollar bill is 6 inches long. Yes, I've measured it. It really is. So if this is a representation of the average penis, it's just under 6 inches long. Oops, you can't see that. There it is. Yeah. This is not average. Oh my God, no. Not even close. Not even close to average. And this is going to push your cervix up into your lungs. Like, that's not going to be comfortable. Like, we have to think about it. I mean, oftentimes when I talk to men, if there were a penile enlargement surgery similar to breast enlargement surgery, you would have millions of men having these gargantuan penises made. And what would they be able to do with them? I mean, yeah, they can drop their pants and show them off, but nobody's going to want to put that anywhere in their body because it's not going to fit. Like, it's designed the size it's designed because it fits in another human being's body. And it's supposed to be that size. Like, anything bigger is going to hurt. And let's face it, historically, this belief that penises are supposed to be huge is not the way it's always been. Like, if you think back to the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans, I mean, look at the statues. They're small, thin penises, because in that era, that was the ideal for male penises. They were supposed to be small, they were supposed to be thin. And anything that wasn't that, men were embarrassed and upset if they had thick, long penises, because that wasn't the ideal back then. Just like now, men who don't have thick, long penises think there's something wrong with them. Well, there's not. So we need to be able to talk about this. To wrap up, we need to get over the childish humor, the laughing about dick size, the laughing about funny names. We need to be able to talk about it and accept and appreciate, male genitals for what they are, and the way the wide variety that they come in, and the glorious nature of them. So I want you to think about that. I want you to take that in and think about, for especially for guys, because guys have a lot of embarrassment about their penises and about the size and about how it looks and about how it performs. Guys, it is what it is. Your being a great lover is not just about your penis. Think of it as like if you're a carpenter. If you're a carpenter and the only tool you have is a hammer, you're not going to be able to do your job very well. You need more tools in your toolbox. There's more to being a great lover as a man than just having an erect penis. Add more tools. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on Friday when we talk about the women. See you then.